Okay everyone, here's how we start our word art or typography project. Remember, you have to do 2 designs for this project, so I'm just going to start with my first design idea, which is the word guitar. The first thing that I'm going to do, which is really going to help me, is to print out a picture using the iPads or the computers. Print the shape of the object that I want to fit my text inside of, and for me that's a guitar. So I've printed this picture of a guitar and I've cut out the outline of the guitar nice and even and smooth, really paying attention to the angles and sides so that it looks like a guitar, the full shape of a guitar. So I'm just going to choose a piece of paper and I'm going to trace that shape that I have of the guitar onto this new sheet of paper. Now keep in mind, this color that I picked for this paper, this is going to be the color of the guitar in the end. So pick the color that you want the guitar to be. So if I want a red guitar, I'll trace on a red sheet of paper. After I've traced my shape and I've got the shape correct, now it's time to fit your letters inside. This is going to be the tricky part. This is where you're really going to have to squish or stretch or distort your letters so that they really fit inside of your shape. So the most important thing to remember is that every letter has to touch the edges of your shape, and you really want it to fit from left to right and up and down in your shape. So I'm going to start with a pencil or a marker. I highly suggest that you start with a pencil just so that you can erase. I'm just going to start with a marker to show you for the video. I'm going to try and fit these letters inside, and I'm going to start with the G. So I could start anywhere I want on the guitar, but I think that this curve right here already reminds me of a G, so I'm just going to start with this side here and try and fit in that letter G so that it fits nicely on the edges of the guitar. See how from top to bottom it really fits the guitar? That's what I want. I don't want to put the G just inside in the middle here. I want it to touch the edges. So next I need to go on to the U, and I think this curve right here will be great for the U, this spot right here. So I'm just going to start and go down. And I had to distort the U a little bit, but that's totally fine. As long as it still looks like a U in the end, that's perfect. So this is, I think, would be a good spot for the I next. So I'm just going to go along the curve of the guitar. And I'm going to stop there and just start with the top of the I. Okay, now something kind of funny is happening. If I flip my guitar this way, this already looks like the next letter, which is the T. So I'm just going to go with that and fit my T right inside here. And when you're working on this, you'll notice those funny moments where you'll find a spot to put the letter that it perfectly fits. Okay, A is next. So I'm trying to think of how I can do the A. I think I'm just going to make it really, really long. So I think I'm just going to start here and then just put a little box here for the A, okay? So that's really a block letter A. That's okay, but it still looks like an A. It fits. Now this is going to be the trickiest part. I got to try and fit an R into this weird space right here. So I'm really going to have to distort it, but that's okay. I think I'm going to go around here, and the bottom of the R will be here, and the top of the R will come up here, and that will be the inside of the R, okay? So this is a really funky R, but that's all right. I think it still looks like an R in the end. Okay, I've got all my letters fit inside of the guitar. Now it's time to cut out my letters. I cannot just cut out the guitar along the outline. That's not what the goal is. The goal is to make your shape just out of letters. So I have to cut out each letter one at a time. So I'm just going to start with that G and try the best I can to cut out on the lines that I made because they fit perfectly within this guitar. So as I've cut this whole thing out, then I've got my first letter. I'm going to keep cutting out all the letters. Let's pretend I've cut out all the letters. Now it's time to find my background color and how I want to arrange this new guitar onto my background. So I can pick a small sheet of paper like this or a bigger one like this if I'm planning on putting a lot of background information in. So now it's time to just arrange my letters after I've cut them out one by one and glue them side by side onto here so that the guitar shows the correct shape so they really fit together to make that guitar. So after I've finished all of this, then it's time to think about the background and the details. So a lot of students from past years have gotten really detailed with the layering of the papers. They have ice cream for this one, but they've put some layer papers on top. and some details around the words to make it really look like an ice cream cone. Same thing for this person. They did 2 words, strawberry smoothie, and they're doing some background information here. This person got really detailed with the arms and the legs of Mr. Peanut. So think about how you could maybe fit most of the letters in the biggest parts of the shape, but the smaller details could be just details that you cut out and glue in the end. Same thing for the popsicle. They put a little hand right here holding the popsicle. Those are awesome details that make this art a lot more interesting to look at. So think about your details for your background. So once I've completed this one guitar, then I can go work on my second word, which will be a completely different word than the guitar, something new. Okay, so you'll have 2 designs in the end. Think about your background space, and then you're finished.